In today's video, we've got a real page turner. Hey, what's going on YouTube? Mr. Football here today. Today I'm here with my 2021 version of what I'm reading in 2021. So I did this last year and went through some books that I picked up in the off season and went through and basically did a video about what I picked up to read, what I'd learned about. This year is an interesting year going into football clinic season because we don't have the traditional clinics like we would have in a normal non-pandemic year. Normally we go to Glacier and a lot of the local clinics and stuff. Sometimes go to colleges, but this is one of those years where a lot of the learning's got to happen in here, for me at least. So I did pick up more books than I usually get, just for the sake of trying to reach all those areas that I'm trying to get. So the books I have today are really in the order that I got them. So I've not started reading all of these. I've finished at least one of them, which this is really the reading that I do over the off-season period, and use these books as either references at times. There has been a couple of them that I've gotten pretty far in, and a couple I've not got there yet. But it's just more about when I get to that part of my clinic season of what I get. So my main focus this year was learning offense. I wanted to look at more of the spread offense. We see a ton of spread offense in our league. So I'm just looking for all the different concepts. I focused more on the passing side this year. I'm more interested in learning passing concepts and understanding basically from the offensive side as a defensive coach what they're trying to attack with what we're doing. So I'm trying to get basically on the other side's camp a little bit, and so I've got more offensive books here. Defense, I'm pretty sold on like what I do defensively, and just slowly try to incorporate different things over time. So I didn't really feel like this year was a big defensive year for me, but it was more of a learning year for offense. So we want to start with special teams, which is a third of the game. I actually picked this book up last football season. This one was, I think I picked this up kind of around June, and it's The Shield Punt by Chris Four. Now, I listen to Chris Four's, I used to listen to Chris Four's podcast, the Coach's Locker podcast, and he has a great website for consulting, but he also wrote this book on the Shield Punt. And I gotta say, it's a small book, but there's a lot of information packed in, 80 pages, 81 pages to be exact. The great thing that I like about what Chris has done with the book, it's very simple. I won't, the chapters aren't very long, but you're talking about one aspect of the game, punt formation out of essentially one formation, and so it's extremely simple. But he goes through everything from player assignment to why the kicks get blocked, and try to basically give you, either as the special teams coordinator or someone that's in charge of punt, basically all the reasons why something might not work with Shield Punt, because he's done it, and everybody through what he said in here, which was interesting. He's used Shield Punt for 13 years, and through 144 games on nearly 400 punts, they had only 3 punts blocked and 1 return for a touchdown. So the numbers are right there. He's an expert in it, and it's just awesome to go through. What I will say is one of the more interesting parts about the book. This is kind of where I was last at in the book, but he includes a bunch of QR codes, and those QR codes actually you scan them with your phone, and that will give you videos on YouTube that he has uploaded, and it's super cool to see it that way. Very, very unique book just to start with, and so I praise this one a lot. and I learned more about the shield punt this year. You just kind of going through, and we actually ran a version of the shield punt with our own team, so it was good to see. Moving on to book number 2. This was one I got for Christmas as a gift and didn't know that I was getting it. We do sometimes we put like Amazon wish list together. I put some books on. This one wasn't on my list, but I really like it. Actually, it's a football drill book by Doug Mallory, and there's parts of it that are really simple. I mean, it goes through about every football position. It goes through speed development, agility drills, just stuff about conditioning. Now, I will say that the book is a little dated as far as what we have here. This book came out in 1993, so a 27-year-old book to be exact. So, there's some good things in here. There really is. But a lot of it is dated a little bit. The tackling drills are a little bit, they're not in style because, they don't use the style of tackling that we're accustomed to today. That's not a knock on this book in any way. And I feel like it's a very novice read for people that need drills and stuff. So I don't really need drills a lot of the times, but I could see where this book would be a very useful book for people that are just getting into coaching. I try to look at through the offensive line section just to see if there's, nothing that I'm missing. A lot of good wide receiver drills. There's tons of videos and drill books on wide receivers. I mean, heck, I have 2 of them. But there's a lot of good stuff. So it was a good gift, and I like going through it every now and then. I found myself before the video going through and looking through the defensive section, and I liked it because it's a lot of the stuff that we do. So it's not really outdated in that regard, but it's been a good book, to kind of reference. The next one is Concept Passing and Teaching the Modern Passing Game by Dan Gonzalez. And through listening to podcasts and stuff, I was kind of recommended this one as far as understanding, passing concepts. And this book really gives you, I wouldn't say necessarily an entire playbook because it's not what it is, but it gives you kind of a system to go by as far as, packaging plays together and stuff, and doing different things. So it really goes through a lot, and I think it's the book's breakdown just from what I've read, and I've read about 50 pages or so into it, and near the end of the book you start getting into some of the more detailed passing concepts, but I'm not going to really spoil anything. But it's been a good one to read just about understanding the passing game, and just kind of going from there. So into the next book, and you'll see that, like I said, it's an offensive year for me as far as learning this. This is actually a new book that came out in 2021. So this is actually a new print, but it's triple option RPO. RPOs with triple option run principles. So it's by Scott Curd. And it goes through and really talks about kind of this guy's upbringing with the triple option and kind of how it's evolved over time and how he's evolved. And so basically what we know of triple option, I mean, that's what the RPO is. So I mean, in the say split back veer days, it's the dive, the keep, and the pitch. And in today's world, we know, the dive is the inside zone. It's the zone, or the dive, however you want to call it. The keep, and then the slant bubble RPO, which is the pitch. So that's kind of where the triple option has evolved to today. And it's a cool look at, really getting into seeing some of the different ideas. And I just haven't went through enough of this book yet to give my full opinion on it. But I'm excited to get through it. We deal with a lot of triple option. We deal with RPOs. We deal with all that stuff. And it's just one of those things that I feel like I got to have the edge on. And RPOs used to scare me, and they don't really anymore. And you just try to figure out how to stop them. And so, I feel like defense is catching up at least, and that's kind of how it always is. But it was just good to kind of take a look at, just have a more different look at the triple option and just looking at RPOs. Next one, I've wanted this book for a while. This is Five Wide Empty Offense by Scott Spanton. And I've been wanting to get this book for about 2 years now on the empty offense. And it's essentially what it is. It's five wide, one quarterback in the backfield. And it's interesting. I've always had a plan for empty. And there have been years where we see like little to no empty. And then this year, if I remember correctly, we had at least 4 teams run empty on us this year. So it's one of those things that, we even ran empty, ourselves and stuff. So what's interesting to me about empty is like, I think more people should do it because it makes defenses look at that, and we're like, everybody's got to have a crazy plan for it, and that's how I think. So like when I see empty, it's like, oh, I better write down empty. It's one of those things that we all have to have a game plan for. So I think more offenses should use empty formations. But I wanted to see what are teams doing in empty that's any different from their offense, because if you come out in say 20 personnel, like we see a lot of spread teams do. They got the sniffer back, the tailback quarterback, and then they've got 2 split to one side and 1 to the other, and then all of a sudden they come out empty and don't really change the personnel. Like, what are they doing that's different? And so that's really what I was looking into, looking at some of what they're trying to do in the passing game, because I've got a lot of different plans for empty, but I don't know like what we should focus the most on. But either through that, I just try to make it simple. The book goes through a lot of formations for empty. They do a right formation, a left formation, a right flip, which just kind of, changes it up. They do quads formations, stuff like that. They'll do different things where they'll move one guy in motion, so they essentially have all the different motion types in there. And then they talk about their run game. Which was interesting, through that's pretty simple, but it's a lot of zone concepts with, stuff like they do a wrap play where they wrap the backside guard, almost kind of like it's kind of interesting, honestly. They do a zone read. They do one where they do jet RPOs off of it, so it's really interesting. They do a Q counter. I love Q counter. I think it's a good play. It's hard. So those are all. It's really good. And when I got this book, I was just glued to it, and I was just like seeing all the stuff you can do. And so there's a lot of good ideas. Don't expect this to be an entire playbook and so forth. It's a lot of ideas. And it's a lot of good ideas, but I don't think you can necessarily build a whole playbook on this. But I think if you incorporate some of the, the style that this is, I would love for this to be expanded and really look at like putting all of this together into one thing. And there's, there's not a whole lot on like pass protection and stuff, which I'm kind of into. So that is one aspect that I like to see is see the pass concept or the pass protection stuff. All right, so moving on to my final 2 books. I've got another highly requested book. I say highly requested, but this was one that was recommended. It was like, good reads for coaches. And this one is The Bunch Attack Using Compressed Formations in the Passing Game. And this one was by Andrew Cloverfield, Dan Robinson. And And so this one goes through bunch, and just like empty this year, we did see some bunch a little bit, and so it wasn't enough, but in our own offense, using some bunch concepts as well kind of made me think about it. But it also was also wanted to see it from when people do like gun wing, where they'll be in gun and they'll have, say, a tight end and a wing and then two split out over here. And they're kind of doing like different concepts out of that, whether it's through run or pass. So this is I love bunch formation. I think it's, any time where you can either get them in tight on the line of scrimmage, it creates, more run gaps. And then if you get them out wide, then it creates more problems defensively for having extra blockers out there. So there's all kinds of, different, it goes through different stacked alignments, goes through like different things. And one thing that this does is it goes through pass protection. So I do like it, and they do give a lot of detail. The book is over 200 pages, almost 250 pages long. And I've not gotten through this one a lot. It's going to take a while to get through, so I don't know if this is going to be a right now read. So that's a good one. My final one, I don't really have much to say about it. It is the biggest book that I have here, but it is actually on the sport that I'm coaching at the moment, which is track and field. So it is the Coach's Guide to Cross Country and Track and Field Training Cycles. So I'm not a cross country coach, but this one is interesting. It goes through pretty much everything from the cross country season going into the track season. And I've been more in the track season myself, but it goes through a lot of workouts. It goes through about everything, and it goes through a lot of stories as well, just about being a track coach and stuff. So I'm a head track coach starting this year, and so it was one of those things that I felt like I needed to kind of get into and understanding how you train athletes in season. So that's kind of what I'm using this book for. So anyway, that's the last book. We finished on something different than football, but like I said, that's what I'm into right now. Hopefully this video wasn't too long, but I just wanted to go through. I had more books to go through this year. Like I said, it's non-clinic season year because of the pandemic, so that's kind of what we're stuck to. So it sucks, but that's where we're at. So I'm going to do my fair share of Zoom calls and other things that I can do. So if you guys like this video, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you want to see more coaching videos. We have coaching videos. Please check out our coaching playlist that we have that goes through the different aspects of different aspects of football coaching and stuff like that. If you guys don't have anything else, if you have anything else, I should say, leave it in the comments down below, and I'll get back to your questions. And we'll see you guys next time. I'm Mr. Football. I'm out of here.
Perfect.